Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to discuss about representations of quadratic functions. For this topic, we have three objectives that we'll be discussing, and objective number 1 says I can determine the domain and range of quadratic functions using inequalities from tables, graphs, and equations. The values of a quadratic functions are shown below, and it's on a table. For you to be able to see this graph clearly, I suggest to use technology and to plot all those points. The question is, if the vertex is 1, 2, what is the function's range? So the way you can plug this in is you click on the plus sign, choose a table, and then one by one plug in your coordinates. So after plugging in all the coordinates, this is what the graph looks like. And so we can now answer the question. It says, if the vertex is at 1, 2, what is the function's range? So y'all know we always start from the vertex. So that is your mark. And notice that I'm marking this way because range is y values. So we need that number, and I guess that is 2. So 1, 2. Okay. By the way, it's also there. Yeah. So what you do, if it's a parabola like this, you know that this will be ongoing. This is going to go on and on and on. So now you mark this, and you put down that it's a 2, and it's on y, because it's range. And now you're going to kind of analyze. If this is my imaginary mark right here, where is your graph at? Know that your graph is on top of that mark. So because it's on top of that mark, it's greater. Okay, because it's above your mark, your horizontal mark right here. Okay. And then it's an included value. Okay, it's not an unshaded circle. It is a shaded circle. So that's included. And because of that, that has an equal sign. So there you go. That is your range. And this is read as that your range is the set of all y values that are greater than or equal to 2. Still on objective 1, example number 2. Which of the following represents the domain of the function graphed below? So you know that domain are all the x values, and the way to do this is you mark left to right. So once again, if it's range, you mark bottom to top, but this time it is domain, so we're marking left to right. So again, why are we marking left to right? Because you want those values right there. However, your graph has arrows. So because they have arrows, even if you mark it, those arrows will push your marks. So like this arrow right here is going to push this mark towards the negative infinity. And this one is going to push it to the right, which is the positive infinity. Because it is going to negative infinity all the way to positive infinity, your answer here is set of all real numbers. In the inequality notation, if you want to write this on inequality notation, your notation would look like this, negative infinity all the way to positive infinity. And please take note that whenever it's infinity, you don't put an equal sign at the bottom because infinity is never equal. Example number 3. Which of the following represents the domain of the quadratic function below? So let's again use our strategy, which is marking left to right because it's domain. Again, domain is left to right, range is bottom to top. Okay, once you have marked your graph, because it's domain, you write the x, and then this symbol is always used going that way, and then you go from left to right, and that number right there is a positive 1 all the way to 5. And then you will have to go back and analyze your endpoint. So right here, your endpoint is shaded, so that has an equal sign at the bottom, while this one has none, so you leave it that way. So in this case, your answer is letter B. Sample 4. Which of the following represents the range of the function graph below? So because this is range, we're going to mark bottom to top. So I'm marking the bottommost of my graph. and I'm marking the topmost of my graph. And because it's range, then you start with y. And again, symbols are fixed like this all the time. And you go from least to greatest, and that is going to be a -6. And the top is going to be a +3. After that, you will have to go back and look at your mark and the endpoints of your mark. So right here it is covered. So that's a reason why you have an equal sign right here at the bottom. And this one is considered as shaded also, or included point, because if they intend to not make this included, then it would look like this, where they would exaggerate and make this become an open circle. Because there is no open circle there, this is understood to also have an equal sign right there. So that is going to be your range, which is letter D. So for this next example, still on objective 1, it says, which of the following represents the range of the functions? Again, bottom to top, so I'm marking my bottom and I'm marking my top. This is a different strategy I'm showing you. So again, range is y. Use this symbol. Your lowest value is a 3. Your greatest value is +∞, again, because of those arrows. And so you need to go back, and that has no exaggerated open circle. So that means that that point is included. Because of that, there's an equal sign. Once you're done setting this up, just eliminate this part that has the infinity side on it. And then you will have to rewrite your inequality to where y is here in the front, and the opening will follow the y. So that is read as y is greater than or equal to 3, which is going to be letter C. Let us now move on to objective number 2. I can graph quadratic functions on the coordinate plane. So this is very simple. I only have 2 examples on this one. This is just plug and match. Alright, so I use Desmos. I plug in all these, I plugged in the equation, and it seems to me like if I'm going to match this, that the answer is letter A. Okay, example number 2. The strategy here is to plug in all the answer choices and to see which one looks like your graph. So I had plugged in choice A, and it does not look like that one. So you're now going to open another window and turn this off. The way to turn this off is like that. So it's like a switch. So now we will plug in letter B. Alright, so this is letter B, and it looks like this is the answer because of the y-intercept right here. Also, the vertex looks like 1, 2, like what you have there. I think it's B. However, I always tell my kids, you know what, it won't hurt if you practice plugging in, and so I want everyone to plug in C and D as well and to find what's wrong with them. However, because you're examining all those, I'm going to turn this off again and just turn it back on later when you're done analyzing all the others. So now let us plug in letter C. Okay, so for letter C, you know that that's not the answer because right here, your vertex is at quadrant 2, while on here, your vertex is on quadrant 1. So because of that, that's not the answer. You turn that off and you plug in letter D. And this is opening down. Another way to tell if your graph opens down is that the coefficient of x squared is a negative number. That means that you had done a reflection, meaning that your graph is opening down. For our last and final objective, I can identify key features of quadratic functions. Example number 1. The graph of a quadratic function is shown below, between which 2 x values can the vertex be found. So this is your vertex, and your vertex can be found between 2 and 4. So right here is your vertex, and your vertex is between 2 and 4. Example number 2, which of the graphs below contain minimums as vertex? So when you say minimum, that means that your vertex is found at the bottom. So this one is your vertex, it's at the bottom, this is at the bottom, this is a max, and this is a min. So all A, C, and D are minimums. Okay, next example. The graph of a quadratic function is shown below. Which of the following statements are true? Check all that apply. Let's go ahead and examine this. There are no zeros of a function. Well, first of all, there are zeros of a function. That's a zero of a function right there, and that's a zero of a function right there. Another term for zeros of a function are roots, solution, and x-intercept. Right, so A is wrong because there are definitely zeros of a function there. And then the next one here, it says that the vertex is a max, which is true because it is here on top, so it's a max. So this is not right. This is right. The vertex is at, hold on. It has coordinates. So negative 2, 3. Okay, we're right. Negative 2, 3. This is a max, but this vertex is not right. So that's not right. And the axis of symmetry is right here. That is your axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is always x equals because it hits the x-axis. If you can see this, that's your x-axis. So this is x equals whatever number that is, which is a negative 2. Okay, and so that is right. Axis of symmetry is x equals 3. That isn't right. Okay. 2 x-intercepts is right because that's 1 and that's 2. So there you go. So your answer here is B, D, and F. The graph of a quadratic function is shown below. Which of the following statements are true? Check all that apply. The axis of symmetry is right here, which is not that. So that's not right. The vertex is a maximum. That is not right. The vertex is a minimum. That is a check. Zeros are 2 and 6, so those are your zeros of a function. Axis of symmetry is at x equals 4. And then the y-intercept, which is 0, negative 4, is right here. So this is going up, so that cannot be. So your answer is C, D, and E. Next example, the graph of a quadratic function is shown below. Which of the following represents the axis of symmetry? So let's go ahead and draw that. Axis of symmetry is right here. I already said it's always x equals, because it hits the x-axis, which is right there, equals 4. So your answer is x equals 4, letter B. Last and final example. The graph of a quadratic function shown below. Which of the following represents the zeros of the function? There are other words that we call zeros of a function, and I wrote them here. You can call them x-intercept. You can also call them solution. You can call them roots. And of course, zeros of a function. Those are x-intercepts, right? So those are those. And they are at negative 2 and 0. In this case, your answer is letter C. So I hope that you had learned a lot today, and good luck in taking your Power Focus assessment.